Hello everyone, it's Annette Green. It's week 51 of 52 of 2024, where every week I do a craft or craft related video, and we're almost to the end. This week is a little bit late just because of the holidays. I hope everyone had a really good Christmas. I sure did. But as you can see, today we're going to make this cute little album, but we're going to make it with different paper. I want to walk you through this one, and we'll talk about this new die, and then I'll show you how to put this together the way that I did it with some different paper. As you can see, it's actually a Planner Essentials die. It's Christmas takeaway cup, and honestly it can be used throughout the year. As you can see, this is not Christmas at all, but that's what it's called. It's number 2193 by Esther Glass with Elizabeth Craft Designs, and there it is, that big giant coffee to-go cup, and the lid and a little hinge there. There's a straw, there's hearts, there's stars in a circle. You'll see when I go through here, there are words like but first, coffee, Christmas, Xmas, cozy, tea, and here are the sleeve pieces that go across the cup here. So I'm going to show you this all the way through, and also you may notice that I've got a little different hinge system going here. So there's the basic cup shape, super cute, great for a little mini album, great to actually attach to a page in a planner. And this little piece here is what comes in the die set, which this may look a little funny over here, but if you lay a dark brown cardstock behind this, you can see those are little coffee beans all in a row. Isn't that cute? But these holes do line up with the planner pages. And we'll just back out a little bit just so I can show you. Yes, they do line right up. This is my 2025 memory keeping planner. If you haven't seen those two videos, part 1 and 2, I show you how I make all my little monthly dashboards for the new year. But you do have a choice to do this with 3 rings and make a separate album like this, or to put it into your planner as a little additional doohickey in your page, which is fun. But what I've done is I've used the cinch by We Are Memory Makers. We Are Makers? They've changed their name from We Are Memory Keepers to We Are Makers. And so I have made a different sort of hinge, a little bit bigger and a little bit shorter, a little wider but shorter, and then put 5 of the holes from my cinch and then use some coils. You know, it's just a different option. That's what I am going to show you today, but you can certainly use this and use book rings. I didn't have any, so I have a lot of cinch coils. Let's take a little walk through, get a little closer here. This is pretty much, the papers are all from my beautiful Bounty paper collection for Elizabeth Craft Designs. And you'll recognize newer and older stamps and dies in here. So I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail on everything you see here. I'll just list everything below that I used to make it. Now, one thing to know right away, for my little album, I'm not finished. I want to do more. I want to put things in these, and I made all of these into little pockets. Those can go on flat. You can layer them. This one has vellum in between the layers, and I stamped out one of my little bingo stamps on there for that pocket. This is part of the die, the coffee die, but this is from my small doilies and tabs set. So a basic page needs more embellishment. Until I know exactly what I'm going to use this for or who it's going to go to, I'm not going to spend too much time early on doing all kinds of embellishment. So this page features my happy banners up there, and I've done some small cutouts from these library cards in my paper collection to put into those pockets. Some postage stamps, sweet, the bigger postage stamp there. Lots of mixing and matching with the papers and the stamps and dies from old and new. There's a butterfly stamped and colored in. This is a pocket as well. They all are. If they aren't, I'll let you know. But this one's nice because the vellum sees right through into the paper in the background, kind of like that one does too. Yeah, so that one has a bee on it, just like on the front with my bee. This one's fussy cut from a paper, the other was stamped. And then we have this one, again, both are pockets. Joyful Moments, little doily there, an oval doily here with one of my birds from the Birds and Dwelling. And then old stamp cut out, fussy cut, some stamps from before. These are both pockets again. And this one is 2 pockets as well, and butterfly with the fern. And this star circle is in the set. You just need another circle punch to go around it. And I believe I used a 1 3/4 inch, and it just barely goes beyond those stars. So that's kind of fun to layer up on other paper. Some stamping and some stitching. And then this would be the back. And you can see this is a 5/8 inch circle, like round coil. And without putting any photos or anything more in here, it's pretty chunky. And so there's a cover, a back cover, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. So back to back, that makes 10, of course. So then I got this idea. This is one of those albums, you guys. I'm telling you, once you make one, you're going to want to make a million different themes. But I got to thinking about Valentine's Day coming, and you don't want to wait too long. So I just went to my stash of stuff, and I have tons of papers from all different companies. Some little 6x6 from an old pad that I picked up somewhere. Some are graphic 45 patterns and solids. Both sides are beautiful. Some are close to my heart. I just went with all these different shades of pink, different patterns, a little bit of red, and a little bit of tan, and then of course these little zip strips, and you saw those little puffy stickers. So I just grabbed a bunch of stuff, okay? And that's how I got started on this idea. So the best way to start something like this is not to think too hard, right? Don't think ahead, like what papers are going on what pages or embellishments or anything. Just grab all those pretty papers of whatever theme you've got and cut yourself out a whole bunch of coffee cups, a whole bunch of lids. Mix and match on the table. Just spread them all out. It doesn't matter. You can see I have a lot of stuff here. That's just because I did some fussy cutting and some plans, but you can see I have all these toppers, all different ones. I've got all these sleeves, all different ones, and that's really all I have at this point. Back here I have some additional ones that I think I added on at the end, just to make a full book. Also, if you want it to have a board book kind of feel to it, that's another thing to determine ahead of time. This one feels more like a board book. It's pretty thick, and that's because I put, first of all, Beautiful Bounty, the weight of the paper is nice and thick. It's not quite 100 pound. I'm gonna guess it's like 85 to 90 pound paper. And so to put cardstock in between that makes it a nice, sturdy, thick page. Every page here is like that. But you don't have to do it that way. What I'm going to do for this one is I have some heavy cardstock. This is 100 pound, and that's just going to be for my cover and my back cover. So I'm going to sandwich that with whatever paper I want on the back. And of course, before I do that, I have to put in my little hinge. But then I will go to my papers, and as long as they're not super duper thin, I'm just going to glue those together and put nothing in between. So it's just something to think about. If your papers are really, really thin, like this Close to My Heart paper, I think is about 65 pound. So I went to my also 65 pound cardstock, not the heavy stuff like the cover. This is very thin, you can tell. I may want to use that when I'm using a really thin pattern paper like that in between my sandwich. So it's just something to think about and remember as you go along. You that are big fans of Everyday Elements, my line, you might recognize some of these papers are from Harmonious Hodgepodge. So this pretty red one, that is going to be my cover with the roses, and also my back cover. And when I do this album, I find it's easiest to start with the back cover, and it becomes your template in a way, and then you start to build your pages on top of that till you get to your front cover. I want my back and my front cover to look the same as far as the basic papers. So I'm going to go ahead and get this on here right now. Liquid glue, and the really nice thing about this die is that it is symmetrical. So I am currently putting this paper that's been die cut from the front of the die onto the cardstock that was cut. This is the back side of it that I'm gluing it to, because this is the back cover. So we'll get this on next. I've been inking a lot of this stuff with red, but I think that since this is red, I'll put some brown. And I'm just using my good old precision glue press with art glitter glue in it here to adhere all these pieces. And that's what I did with my other one. Didn't require anything heavy duty, and it worked beautifully. So this just lines up right on there. I believe this is close to my heart paper as well that I've held on to for quite a while. All right, so that's my back cover. Make sure I get that right in line there. Little edge peeking out. Okay, so when I go to do my little tabs, my hinges, I'm going to use red cardstock, and because this is not super thick, I'm going to use 2 pieces. I'm going to glue them together, and these measure 2 inches by 3 inches. So we'll get those glued together, and I'm going to do that to all of these. I have determined that I'm going to do 6 pages with 2 covers on this particular album. Because some of the papers are thinner, it won't be as fat and bulky as my Beautiful Bounty one. So I'm going to go ahead and get, let's see, I need 6, 7, 8 of these little hingey things. I'm going to get them all glued together and let that glue have a chance to dry before I go punching it with my cinch. Once you get all those done, then I like to round 2 of the corners with a very small corner rounder, just because I feel like that is a little bit neater look. You can leave it square if you like, and then I would ink those edges because this particular cardstock has a white core. I'm just going to ink that red just to blend it right in, and this part isn't going to show, so we don't have to do that straight edge. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, remember, this is my back cover, and I'm going to decide where this is going to go. You can see only that much is going to stick out, and it's just enough for our coils to work perfectly. It's not spaced way out, so that is going to work perfectly. And so what we're going to do before we get this glued in is we're going to go to the cinch, back it out here a little, and on the cinch machine that I have, it makes the square holes. There's some that make round, the original ones. This is the Heidi Swapp version. So I have pushed in pegs 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the rest of them are pulled forward. That means I don't need those. So I'm going to get 5 holes. I'm going to put the rounded corners in first. I'm lining up with the 0 on the left. I know you can't really see this, but I am lining up because this is a 3-inch piece. It's very easy to line up the 0 and the 3, push it way back in there, and then we have our perfect 5 holes. So I'm going to do that with all of these and get those done so we can just move forward and put the cinch away. Okay, so the best way I have found to do this is to make a line pretty much through the center. Now the center, it's like, where the heck is the center, right? So if you measure, this is pretty much 3 inches from left to right, way up here. Okay, so I'm going to make a little mark at 1.5, and then I'm going to take my little straight ruler here, square that up, and make a pencil line down the center. Okay, and then from that center point up, I go up 3/8 of an inch. And I made a little mark there already, and I can use this to do this, I think. I don't use this little T-square ruler very often, but it is pretty handy. So I'm just going to make a little mark, and this is just for this first one. I'm just going to make a mark like that. So this is the area that we are going to put our little guys in each time. So you don't have to do it each time. Once we do this one, then we lay the page on top and we follow and just line things up. Now also, what might be a good idea, especially for this first one, is to also draw the line at the top of our little hinge, and then that way you know exactly where to put your glue or your tape or whatever you're going to use. And so I'm going to stay within those pencil lines with my art glitter glue. And we're going to put this right up to those pencil lines. Okay, give that a second. Use my little crystal brick here. I'll link that too, because that's a pretty great little tool I use all the time now. Push that out of the way for a second. Got all my other hinges done and ready here. I just wanted to show you a couple of things. I don't have a lot of Valentine's kind of stamps or lovey-dovey kind of stamps, so I did go to the Graphics Fairy and went to a couple of their different offerings. I do have a membership with them, and there was quite a few nice things. You can see I have a couple different sizes. This one is a little envelope. Isn't that cute? And some of these I created myself by using a couple of different elements from their pack, and I went into, you know, Photoshop and I layered things up like that one and that bird. So I have a couple of embellishment pieces like that. I've got some things stamped out or die cut out, like this little circle like before. And then I kind of don't worry too much more about embellishment stuff, because that's always the very last step. I just wanted to share with you that there are places, if you don't have papers that have all that stuff. So now I just need to have the fun of deciding what papers are going to go next and start getting a plan together here. So we know this is going to be our cover, all those elements, and that needs that heavy cardstock to go with it, so we'll keep that together. And then at this point I can just pick and choose what I want. You know, I've got some pretty papers over here from one of Esther's books, so let's not think too hard about it and let's just pick something. Let's go with that one. That looks like Graphic 45 paper, patterns and solids, which I don't know about you, but when I get my patterns and solids from them and I've used them with whatever paper collection they go with, I will sort them then by colors. So I have a ton of different collections from Graphic 45. I put all the pinks together, all the reds together. It's just the way that I like to do it, because I know I'm going to use these patterns and solids for projects like this. Got glue all over the back of that. And I have inked it in red. Now some people don't necessarily like the look of colored inks when they're inking edges. I don't mind it. I like it. So I'll weigh that one down and we'll go on to the next one. Just picking two more colors. I know that this is going to be something that faces this, so why don't we do that? We'll set that over there so we can kind of, when we make our decision, it will kind of coordinate. And I like this little polka dotty one right here. And then we have to decide what's going to go on the back of that one. So let's just go with this really pretty one. Actually, I think I want that one here. Yep. So I'm going to put these two together. But what we're going to do is this one will face this one. And we'll ink it really quick. And then I'll show you how we're going to use the first one as a template. Okay, so we know that this is going to be here, and so we're going to flip it this way. This is not brain surgery. It's super easy. And then we're going to line these up like that. This is where you might want to make pencil lines again, so you know where to put your glue, or you can just leave that just like that and put the glue down. But I tend to go beyond with my glue, so I don't really want to do that. And then this way I can pick it up and I can see where the glue is going to land. But you do what works for you the best. Okay, lay that back down. Even though I have my pencil line there, I'm just doing it this way to make sure everything lines up. Line up those holes. And then we'll press that. Okay, and since this is my next paper and it's pink, I didn't really want to ink it with red, so I did pull out a pink ink, saltwater taffy, that is going to go onto here. Okay, so I'll get that on next. And those don't need to be stacked because we already have our little hinge there. So that just lines up with the cup. It's already there. If you get a little glue on stuff, you know, just use one of these little guys and it picks it right off of there. But you definitely want to burnish this down so your glue travels all the way out to those edges. And there we go with that one. Okay, so obviously we just kind of keep on going, repeat, 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 and then you can go back to all your little topper pieces and make your decisions on what they want to go with. So let me do that and we will be back. Okay, we have all of our little pages, 2 covers and 6 pages. Looks like this, very cute. I didn't put any toppers on anything yet except the front or the back cover here. But I just wanted to show you that I have these binding wires in the pink and the rose, actually pink, 2 shades of pink. So there's a darker kind of hot pink and then this lighter pink, which is what I'm going to go with. And we only need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm just going to use my little snips here to cut this off. Got my cinch machine up here, got my wires, and I like to hook them on here just like they say to. And of course, to have the hidden part of the coil inside of the album, you take the back cover to the front first, and we're going to slide this on here just like so, and then we'll mush it in our little place back here, and make sure your dial is set at the 5/8 and give it a push. Of course, if you prefer to decorate these before you bind it, that is definitely an option. Since I've already done one, I feel pretty confident when I do decorate my pages. I just lay them out flat. So that is how this album comes together. Now I'm just going to play and kind of choose my toppers, choose my little wraps here, and embellish and everything. And I'll be sure to share this in the next video. And speaking of the next video, it'll be week 52. It'll be the very last one in my series of weekly videos for 2024. So I will share that finished Valentine album there, but I'm also going to do a walkthrough of my December to Remember album. If you recall, this was a tutorial. It's in my Etsy shop on how to do this hand-stitched book. It's a hardcover. I put fabric on mine. You can cover it with paper. But I have been following prompts from the beginning of December, and I've made all these awesome pages that I want to share with you when I get it all finished, which will be after the 31st. So stay tuned for that as my final video for this year. And I'm going to continue next year. Hopefully we'll do one every week like I have been doing. But what I need to know from you all is some ideas for what you'd like to see. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take your ideas, type them out, put your name with them, cut them out, put them in a bin, and I'm going to pull one each week so that I have all these ideas and I can give you credit for the idea as I make it. So I hope you join me next week when we finish that Valentine album. We'll walk through this one, and you can give me your ideas now or wait till the very last video. It's up to you. But I hope to see you then. Take care.